Okay, welcome everybody to another episode of the Deep Dive Expedition Series. This is a special episode in the Expedition Series as we're doing a deep dive into ADVG 4130, also known as the Adventure Studies Trails to Reconciliation Field School. So today we're revisiting what they did in 2019. And part of that field school, they took part in an opportunity to combine trail building and mountain biking with an important focus on what reconciliation means to adventure studies students. So joining me today to talk about that is adventure studies faculty member Craig Campbell, as well as a student that was on that field school, Badal Shressta. So how are you guys doing today?
I'm doing good, Simon. Thank you.
Yeah, doing really well, thanks.
Great. Well, yeah, thanks for being here today. So Badal, maybe I'll start with you. I like to give each of you an opportunity to just introduce yourself. So, tell us who you are, where you're calling from today, and when did you graduate from TRU, Badal?
Yeah, I'm Badal Shressta, and I currently live. I just moved in 2 days ago, so it's difficult to remember the place of the name. It's 216 White Shield Crescent or something.
Okay.
I don't remember the whole address, but I'll get there slowly. I'm here in Kamloops. It's a beautiful day. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And Badal, my follow-up question is, if you could be adventuring right now, what would you be doing?
Oh, the plan was to go back to Nepal for the summer. So I would probably be walking few, trails back home in Nepal. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. Some plans went out the window, I guess, in the last couple of weeks. But so yeah, calling from Kamloops, and we got some great trails here too. So
yeah, yeah, totally.
And Craig, what about you? Where are you calling from? And when did you graduate from TRU?
Oh, do I have to give dates on this one?
At your discretion.
Yeah, sure. How about late 90s is what it was.
Okay.
It's, I'm currently here in Kamloops as a faculty member, as you mentioned, but I'm a graduate of the Adventure Guide diploma, and then took off to work in industry for many years, and now I'm back. There we go.
Excellent. And Craig, same question to you. If you could be adventuring right now, what would you be doing?
Yeah, you know what? I would love to be out boating. I've been hearing great stories about the Clearwater, and otherwise I would be out maybe building some trail or doing a little mountain biking.
Okay, fantastic. Well, yeah, hopefully you can get a little bit of that fixed today as we kind of walk down memory lane here. So, Badal, let me start with you, as we dissect the 2019 field school. So, yeah, tell us a little bit about it. Where did you guys go, and what were some of the goals of that field school?
Yeah, we basically went to the northern part of Kamloops. We went to 6 or 7 different places. I can't recall the name of all the places, but yeah, I definitely remember being in Astalak, Aztec, beautiful places, right? And for me personally, the whole the reason for me to be on the Trail to Reconciliation course was to try to understand whatever I could within those days, the colonial past of Canada and its history, and how things are going around right now, surrounding whole reconciliation process. So yeah, and the mountain biking,
yeah. Yeah, it seems like a nice added element there. So
yeah.
So and Badal, had you mountain biked before? Had you done much mountain biking or trail building in the past?
No, not at all. Actually, I went on my first mountain bike trip just a few weeks before the classes started. Yeah, Craig invited me along with Jay and Arjun, so we went, and then it was my first time, but I loved it instantly. Yeah, it was like amazing.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like there are lots of opportunities for you in that course. Learning some new skills and yeah, learning an important part of our history as well. So maybe Craig, I'll just put it over to you here. Can you give us a little bit of a background on the field school? So, how long have you been involved with it? How has it evolved, and what are some of the goals and outcomes of this course?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's a big one. But I guess in 2016, TRU ceased offering a field school to Chile, which it ran successfully for many years. And we looked at, what would be an applicable topical field school now in 2016, right? So, what that looked like, I looked around, and trail tourism is growing in leaps and bounds in BC's communities, and more importantly, I think, is the whole concept. The TRC, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, came out with roles and responsibilities, particularly around education, and to bridge that gap, I think, on the lack of knowledge around reconciliation, and as Badal mentioned, the colonial history of Canada, some of us that might not know a ton about. So this field school sort of coalesced a number of things, brought together some elements of what was going on in the adventure industry, but also socially and in terms of a personal ethic and responsibility for each and every Canadian. And kind of built this field school out of that. And so that was 2016, and every iteration has sort of built on that to incorporate elements of trail building, trail master planning, and then go visit as guests to communities that are working with the Aboriginal Youth Mountain Bike Program, who are working on trail projects. And so where we are invited into community, we go and participate in projects that they may have that are ongoing. So with a short answer to a big question, maybe.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Craig. And I guess, my understanding with this is, you set it up, some of these relationships, but I guess the students actually do quite a bit of planning, and it sounds like they do quite a lot of work as well on these courses. So, Badal, I want to ask you a little bit about that. What was the planning process like for you? Had you ever planned anything like this? And I guess, yeah, maybe explain what it was a little bit, or what it was like to be a student on this course.
Yeah, I have planned few multi-days trip before this, but never a car camping. So it was a new experience for me. In few days, I realized that I have packed wrong gears for the trail, because I was not used to go a car camp, and I didn't know how it would look like. The planning, we divided the students, the members, into small groups, and then some of us were taking care of food, some of us were taking care of finances, some of us were uh, looking into content curation, and for our club. So yeah, we met few times. We were constantly in touch online, and yeah, it came out really nice.
Awesome. Thanks, Badal. And Craig, from your perspective, I guess, yeah, how did the field school go? Did the students kind of pull it off this year? And can you tell us a little bit about the community that you went into as well?
Yeah, sure. Well, so we go to several different communities in the Northern Secwepemc territories. And even this in 2016 or 2019 was the first time we went into the Silcotin territories of Estella. And so we go as guests into those communities, as I mentioned, and it really depends on where they're at in their trail building. Some of them are just laying out trail for the first time and working with the Aboriginal Youth Mountain Bike Program, as I mentioned, and or some of them may have already in the case of the Suk First Nation, just north of Barrier, have really established trails. Are really progressive in their trail building for the community. And so we come in, and if they'd like some help, they tell us where to go, and we roll up our sleeves and help contribute to build a little bit of trail here and there. So that's sort of where we went and what we do, that type of stuff. In terms of the students planning, it's always a challenging thing, because we don't know what community, where they're at in terms of what they need. And we are just flexible. We're there to listen, and we're there to help. And so it really depends, because everyone's in a different stage of the planning or execution process. And so the students do really well. like a lot of planning and adventure, it's all around, adaptation and replanning around changed objectives, right? We have the larger outcomes that we want to achieve in the course, but those objectives day to day can change on the different trails and the weather and all sorts of variables. So I think the students did a really good job. We preload it with a couple of weeks of meetings and pre-trip reading to kind of preload and get everybody ready. So overall, yeah, it went really well.
Excellent. And I guess, Craig, were there any specific learning experiences that really stood out to you that I guess were memorable to you?
Absolutely. I mean, each community we go to as guests, we have contacts there, people that have become friends over the several iterations that we've done host us in their community, and they often find people to share with us, or they share with us their experience and their experiences, and welcome us to their communities. And it's just such a special and impactful time to spend time with them in their communities. It's one thing for people to read about truth and reconciliation and to think about it before, in an academic setting at the university, to be in the field with partners from these communities is just so impactful. And I think that's the biggest take home. I know for myself over the several iterations and debriefing with the students, it's always that's always the big light bulb moment for most of them.
Excellent. Yeah, I guess it's that opportunity to move just beyond the theory and actually get some hands-on and build those relationships. I guess, Badal, can you speak to that a little bit? Just maybe describing some of your memories from the trip, if there was anything particular that stood out, with the biking or the relationship building.
Whenever I think about this field school, the first thing that pops in my mind is the switch ceremony we were invited to. So yeah, it was quite amazing. We talked about lots of things, the stories, the First Nation history in Canada. The elder was really he was really interested in sharing his story, and then uh, telling us things about his culture. That was great. And of course, the meeting Tom, who taught us tons of stuff about mountain biking and trail building, and his ghost stories, right? It was amazing. And yeah, my team members also gave me my first swimming lesson during this
right.
whole trail thing. So yeah, I made really good memories and learned lots of things from my team members, from Craig, from people I met on the trail. So this trail for me was more about people than the places and the mountains and then the rocks, which has always been the major part of my travel throughout my life. But this was a bit different. It was all about people and culture. So yeah, it was really special for me.
Awesome. Well, great to hear, Badal. And I guess maybe my next question for you is just advice for any students who would, take this course in the future, whether they're planning. Like, what advice do you have? What did you learn that you could pass on to a future field school student?
Yeah, if you're interested in mountain biking or any sorts of trail adventure, then this is a great course to be in. But it is also a great course to be in if you are looking to understand or see the First Nation community and understand their culture firsthand. So as an international student, we don't have that access. So usually we have to depend on what we read on books and what we hear from other people, especially other international students. So yeah, being in a course like this would really, help. Help to see me the whole thing firsthand. Yeah.
Awesome. And Craig, what about from your perspective, I guess, why should students take this course?
Well, I feel it's a really important course for anybody who wants to work in the adventure tourism, adventure therapy, the adventure landscape going forward. Land use issues and facing up to Canada's past relationship with First Nation communities is the work that it's all our work to do together. And I think this course helps to at least shed some light on there and start people on their journey, their personal journey into reconciliation. So I think that's a big part. I think that there's a moral imperative to do it, and I think that it's really it's an important piece of the workforce going forward too. This building of relationships. And the other thing I would just say about this course is that often people are like, oh, it's a trail building course. I don't really want to go trail building. Or it's a mountain biking course. I'm not really a mountain biker. And really, those are the secondary outcomes. The real outcome is the reflection and your personal plan towards reconciliation. That's sort of the bigger picture. And the mountain biking and the trail building is the conduit that gets us onto the land, to be in the land and to be invited into communities where we are privileged to listen and have history and culture shared with us. So I think that's the one piece, is not to get derailed with the idea that it's this trail building field school. That's really just what gets the boots on the ground. And the other nice thing about that is that while this is a fun course, it's exciting. There's a lot of heavy topics. It's not, reconciliation is not a fun topic. There's a lot to unpack in there, and being on the ground and on the land helps to ground people and ground us during that experience. What help us process those thoughts and those emotions that we have during this course. So why should someone take it? I think that there's just a lot of personal and professional growth that can be had in this course.
Well, yeah, it sounds like from both what you guys have shared today that it goes so much more beyond the activity, and there's a lot of that added value there. But you talked about the relationships and just like we said, like Craig, you said, building off the theory, right? And having that practical opportunity to really build relationships and get to know and dive into a really important subject that I think can all serve us well. I think we're seeing, especially today, that building relationships are more important than ever. So I guess Craig, thanks for giving these students the opportunity to do so with
my pleasure.
Field course. So I guess maybe my next question, either one of you can answer this, but where can people find more information on the field school and what you guys have done and what's coming up next? Maybe Craig, that's a question for you.
Yeah, sure. Well, you know what? We have a pretty solid circuit and of areas we like to go, and communities where we're welcome. So we'll probably continue that same format. And so it'll run, every spring in the first 2 weeks of May. Where exactly, it will switch a little bit, but so if people want more information, I would just, you can Google the field school 4130 and the Trails to Reconciliation Field School. Every iteration of the field school has built a website for it. And so there's that collateral you can find online, or shoot me a line, and it shows up in the winter semester for registration for students, and it's capped at 12 students, I guess, is the one thing. So
Okay, excellent. So if you want to take it, sign up early. Well, I'll post the website and any other links that you give me, Craig. We'll post it in the description, the podcast and the video description. So anybody who's interested can go have a look at those things. I guess my last question, maybe Badal, I'll start for you. What's next for you? Where's the next adventure?
I just got into adventure guiding diploma program, so I think that's my next adventure. I'm
okay,
excited.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool. So it sounds like your fall will be pretty exciting. I'll probably see you there, maybe on the river. And Craig, what about you? What's your next adventure?
Next week, heading down to the Sunshine Coast, bringing the mountain bike, and gonna do a couple of days of camping and biking, and gonna live large on a little mini staycation.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, great. Well, guys, that's all we really have time for today. So I just want to say thanks to you both for joining me and sharing today and doing a deep dive into the 2019 Field School. For those of you who are listening, thanks for joining us. And as mentioned, any more information on the the Field School from 2019, I'll post those in the description. So make sure you check those out. But yeah, that's all for me today. So once again, thanks to you guys for joining us.
Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
Simon. Great job.
Thank you.